All right, well, thank you everyone for coming out. I'm hoping that people online can hear me. Everyone in the room, can you hear me okay? I don't have a mic on, but I have a fairly loud voice, but people always say that, but they don't really have loud voices. So I want to make sure it's very, for those of you who don't know me, I think a lot of people here do, but I'm Dr. Diane Alonso. I am the program director for the psychology program here at the University of Shady Grove. I'm going to be talking with you all about Passion Path Plan. This is a little talk about what it's like to transfer from a community college or from anywhere into the UMBC psychology program at Shady Grove, and then next steps, what happens after. So sort of a long-term thinking about what it means to be at Shady Grove and what it means to move on from Shady Grove. As you know, we have some people online. The session's being recorded. For those of you who are in my class and who are getting extra credit for being here, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. You'll find the Google form is in the extra credit folder. If you don't find it, I'll talk to you tomorrow or next week. All right, so we're talking about charting your future with the UMBC psychology program at the University of Shady Grove. And let's see if I can forward to the next slide. There we go. So I always like students when they're telling me what they want to do. I do a lot of advising. For those of you who know me, I do a lot of advising. I've been here 21 years. This is my 21st year. My background is in cognitive psychology and experimental methods. And I love to talk to students about what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? What are the things that you get excited about? Because if you're going to be putting in the time and the money to come to college, you want to come here and really get something out of it that aligns with what you want to do. And as I tell my students, especially my cognitive psychology students, we know everyone is different. Everyone has different motivations, everyone has different goals, and everyone has different plans, and everyone has different passions. So I always want people to start off thinking about what is your passion. So whether you're here as a current student, whether you're a prospective student, whether you're an alumni who may be going on to something else or taking next steps beyond here, what is it that really excites you? What are the things that you enjoy doing? And thinking back a little, what were the things that you did? What were the classes you took or are taking that get you really excited? What are those experiences you've had or that you are having? Are you part of a club? Are you doing internships? What are the things that really interest you, make you want to get up in the morning? And where do you see yourself in the future? So this is our little, I put this together years ago. It's a little word cloud of some of those topics in psychology. Most people, when they think about psychology, I always start off with the question, how many people here want to help people? Yes, psychology majors all want to help people. How many people don't want to help people, right? You don't usually get a lot of people saying, I don't want to help people. We get into it because we want to help people, whether it's as a clinician, as a counselor, even in experimental methods or in cognitive psychology. We really want to help people. We might want to help individuals. We might want to help communities. We might want to work for social justice. We might want to help businesses and organizations. There's a lot of ways we can help people. It's not limiting. And again, this is a small word cloud, but it lets you know some of the different things you can do. You can see that we have up here neuropsychopharmacology, biopsychology, abnormal psych, social, environmental psychology, educational psychology. There's a wide expanse. When I started teaching about 20 years ago, and I asked students what they wanted to be, most of them came up with clinicians and counselors, and that's great. We need those. We need clinicians and counselors. But once they got here, they start to realize that there's a much broader range in psychology. There's so many things you can do. You can also be a researcher. You can be an academician. You can be a professor. So there's lots of different things you can do. So let your mind be broad. Some people know exactly what they want to do, and some people don't. The APA website has lots of information on careers in psychology. These are just a few here. They talk about different kinds of helping businesses, helping people improve their lives. There's health psychology. There's that psychology, there's positive psychology, even things involving the planet, environmental and ecology, serving communities. There's a whole area of community psychology, understanding the world around us, so getting to the theories and the backbone of what's going on, and working in schools. A lot of students here actually do go into child psych. We have a lot of people, this seems to be a really interesting area. A lot of people, we have a lot of really great faculty in that area and in all areas. So think about what motivates you, what excites you. So then that's your passion. So once you have a passion, that's great. But if you just have a passion and don't do anything about it, you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to look for that path. What is the path you want to take? And there's not just one right path. There are many, many paths. There are many paths you can take, but how do you find the one that's right for you? Well, first of all, what do you want to study? Do you want to study psychology? And I'm not saying everyone has to study psychology. There are other areas in social work, political science, history, many programs here at the Shady Grove campus that are really great. Some of them through UMBC, some of them through other programs. But I'm going to talk about psychology. So I'm hoping you all are interested in psychology is at least one of your majors. And no, you can have more than one major. You can have a major and a minor. There are lots of different things you can do. How much, where do you want to study? Well, if you live in Montgomery County or near here, this is a great place to study. If you want to be on campus and talk to people, actually see people in person, face to face, and eat food with other people, coming to the University of Shady Grove campus is great. And I'll speak more about that in a few minutes. But do you want to come here? Do you want to go someplace else? How much support do you want or need? Again, I'll talk about some of the really great benefits at Shady Grove where we have smaller classes and the ability to get to know, for faculty and staff to get to know our students and for you to get to know us. What is your timeline? Do you want to take one class a semester? Do you want to be full-time? Do you want to take breaks in your career as you go through academics? Everyone's going to be different. How much do you want to spend? Do you want to go someplace where you're not being overcharged? Say where that might be, but come to someplace like the University of Shady Grove, the UMBC. These are state schools that have a lot of great scholarships available, so something to really consider. And then I'll give you opportunities later on to ask more questions. But think about these things. What is it you're looking for in your education? So think about what that path is to help as you start off to find your passion. And then plan. What are those steps you want to take to get there? So think about the programs that meet your needs, actual ways you're going to do this. How are you, the next steps, if you're at a community college perhaps, are to apply. Do you want to apply to UMBC at Shady Grove? Do you want to apply to the psychology program? For those of you who are going on to other steps, applying to graduate schools, right? Those next steps, be thinking ahead, planning. How can you be successful? What are the things you can do right now that can help you as you move forward? So being here today, thinking about what you want to do next is a really important step, making that investment. Okay, so we'll sort of be thinking about all these as I talk a little bit about UMBC, about Shady Grove, about the campus. So I'll start off with psychology here. So one of the best things about this is we are close to most people's home. Again, if you're a Montgomery County resident, we are close. Proximity is great. It is cost effective. This does not, you actually pay, we don't have as many, some of the things the main campus has. So the fees are a little less, but most people don't use all the things that are on main campus. So you're not paying for a swimming pool. But it really is, this is a very good, this is beneficial, cost effective. And I always try to remind people, there are tons of scholarships. This is for students who are going to be, you're coming here in the fall, once you've been accepted, apply for scholarships. If you're here right now, apply for scholarships. There's money to be given away. Again, you're going to get a really similar experience in terms of the types of classes you have, what you take here, as what you take at the Catonsville campus. But a benefit here is, first of all, we have beautiful classrooms. I think any students who've been here, they can tell you they're comfortable, we have nice classes, they're clean, and they're not huge. So we don't have classes of 200 people that you might have at either the main campus or other universities. Our class sizes are small. I teach a cognitive psychology class with 34 students, and that's my two classes. The other one has 21 students. It's really great. I know my students. I know their names. I know stuff about them. Nothing I'll ever share, don't worry. But it's really great because I think that's a big part of the learning experience. To just lecture to a large lecture hall, sometimes we have to do that, but that's not really effective. Learning and teaching is a conversation between students and faculty. It's getting to know each other and getting to understand the strengths of our students so that we can really teach to those strengths. So you get that here with that great student to faculty ratio. And people have a common experience here. Everyone here is a transfer from somewhere. Even if you were on main campus, you transferred here. But everyone's coming from somewhere else and they're all here. You're not the transfer student on a big campus. Everyone here is a transfer student. And everyone here is a commuter. We don't have dorms here, good or for bad, but everyone has that experience. So no one has to feel like, oh, everyone, this whole group of people live on campus and then there's just one little group that just, they're the commuters. It's sort of, everyone's a commuter. Everyone has similar experiences in that. So these kinds of things can bond us. But it's also a really diverse group. It's ethnically diverse, socioeconomically diverse in terms of ages. Just so many things that this campus has that are really wonderful. And it is beautiful, beautiful buildings. We're in building 4 here. This building was built just before COVID. Sadly, it's groundbreaking. The building was built and then we had COVID, but these things happen. But it's a really nice place to be. And really great students, and I think really great faculty and staff. All right. So this is a picture of, for those of you who may not have been here before, people who are online, this is the Shady Grove campus looking at building 3. We are in building 4 today. It was established in 2000, and we have 9 University of Maryland State institutions represented here. And so the idea is that there are programs from all different universities, from Towson and Bowie and Salisbury and I remember which, lots of the other university campuses, and we all teach cooperatively here. So we all support each other. We all have our own set of classes that we teach. For UMBC, at the undergraduate level, we teach psychology, social work, history, political science, computer science, mechanical engineering, and translational life sciences technology, otherwise known as TLST. And you can make double major, major, minor in many of these programs. So the Shady Grove campus is located in Shady Grove, which is in Rockville. Really nice location. It's easy access. It's not far from the Intercounty Connector. It's not far from Shady Grove Road and the intersection of, what is that? 270, right? Okay. I wasn't originally a Montgomery County resident. I'm not now, but my heart belongs to Montgomery County. I was here before they built 270. So yeah, I was here. There used to be Shady Grove. I think it was called Shady Grove Theater in the Round. That was somewhere in this area, and I used to go to theater in this area. And I have great memories of being a child. This is all country, all very nice. But they've done some great things out here. There's a lot of stuff here, and in addition to this campus, there's lots of great places to go out. There's downtown Crown and places like that are 5-10 minutes from here. Trevilla Gateway Shopping Center is just across the street, so you can walk there. Really nice, lots of things to go to. All right, so we are located in a great area, very accessible. There is a Shady Grove Metro. It doesn't come here, but I believe there is bus transportation from the Shady Grove Metro to here, so it is accessible. All right, and how do we fit in? So people sometimes get a little confused because it is kind of a weird model. We're actually what's called a Regional Higher Education Center, or an RHEC. And what it is again, this is a location. Shady Grove, the University of Shady Grove is not a degree granting institution. It is a location, and it houses staff from the Shady Grove staff, who are basically right now, they're from the University of Maryland, College Park, but they're Shady Grove staff, no faculty, and they run this. They run the centers, they run all the things that go on here, the library, the Macklin Center, all of that, the counseling center, that's all through the Shady Grove staff. Then they provide these services. On top of that are the academic programs. So programs like the psychology program and all of these other programs that are here are taught. We all come from another home campus or campus somewhere else, and we bring specific programs to this campus. And we bring the 3rd and 4th year, the junior and senior year of those programs, with the idea being that students take their 1st and 2nd year at someplace like Montgomery College or Frederick Community College, PG Community College, Howard County, right? College, that's HCC, or they could be coming from another 4-year campus, in-state, out-state, whatever. But they transfer here and finish up their last year or 2, depending on how many credits they bring in. And this is a great way, especially if you're pairing with a community college, you're getting a much more cost-effective academic experience, right? Than paying for some of these very expensive 4-year colleges, get your community college experience, then you come here and you take your last 2 years of classes that are more focused in a particular area. So we're this kind of interesting thing that sits. We're UMBC, the campus that's in Catonsville. We're brought here, but we sit at the University of Shady Grove campus. That's why we're UMBC at the University of Shady Grove. But every student here is a UMBC student, entitled to everything that UMBC students get. You're entitled to all of those same benefits. And when you graduate, your diploma says UMBC, all right? So you are UMBC. You just happen to be taking your classes here. So that's what these pictures are. We have UMBC, this is the UMBC campus. This is our former president, Dr. Freeman Grabowski, giving it a thumbs up. And this is the University of Shady Grove. This is actually on our Department of Psychology website. And then we are UMBC at the University of Shady Grove. All right. And who are we in terms of our students? Well, we're very diverse. We're one of the larger programs here. Psychology right now, I believe, is the largest program. I'm not sure if it's an undergraduate program for UMBC here. This is for all of UMBC-Shady Grove. Again, very diverse in terms of all these different things I mentioned, socioeconomic, racial, age, all sorts of things. We've had, as of July 2024, we had approximately 422 students enrolled. And then this is kind of a breakdown that you can see a lot of in terms of race, ethnicity, in terms of gender, fairly well split. In terms of first generation, we have a lot who identify as first generation, some it's unknown, full-time, part-time, again, all mixed up so that it's not like if you're a full-time person, you're not unusual. If you're a part-time person, you're not unusual. There are other people who'll be going through that same experience. So very interesting set of students that we have. And then and I mentioned how we're connected. I think I already talked about this, how we're connected to the main campus. So I did talk about that already. And then these are our faculty. So Beatrice Radamo is our program coordinator and has been very helpful and has been working really well with students. She's an advisor, knows her stuff. If you have her as your advisor, you're in good shape. They're in good hands. So our faculty are here. I am Dr. Diane Alonso. We have Dr. Don Blank, Dr. Sharice Evans, Dr. David Banks, Dr. Diane Graves, Dr. Aaron Hunt, Dr. Henry Ketchaturian, Dr. Emily Lickbar, Dr. Princess Souvenir, and Dr. Deborah Mosley. These are our current main adjunct faculty. We occasionally have Dr. Robin Goldstein, who's been with us for many, many years, but who has been sort of, I guess, semi-retired, does come out and teach for us in the summer. Dr. Nina Tarner also teaches for us sometimes in the summer. So we're very lucky to have a wonderful pool of faculty. I hear a lot of really good things. You can see the courses listed that people teach, little information about them. And I believe we will be making these slides available, so you'll be able to have these and learn a little more about our faculty and see who they are. This is supposed to be on our website. I'm not sure if it's been updated yet, but I have sent information to get our website updated with some of this information, because it's nice to know who our faculty are. And a lot of them really do go above and beyond. For example, Dr. Diane Graves is going to be doing a project here this summer, working with some of our students as research assistants for her lab, when she works with this kind of pre-transfer boot camp, ECAD it's called, I believe. And so our adjuncts really do get very involved and help our students, so they can really be wonderful working with them. They're a great group, and I appreciate them very much. We have a lot of great staff, and these are the staff who work for all of UMBC-Shady Grove, so not just psychology. We have Chelsea Moyer, who many of you know and have worked a lot with. She's great. She really gets in touch with students. She has a peer advisory team. Who is anyone here on peer advisory? Not right now, but we do have peer advisory team who work with incoming, prospective, and incoming. Well, I think most of the incoming students, but they also attend events. Yeah, they're supposed to attend stuff. Yeah. Actually, they have someone online, so I should check. But they often attend events. They've attended the orientation session, the information sessions, and they work with our program. So they're really great. And it's usually a student who's been here for at least a semester, but they get involved, helping these students as they transfer into our program. She developed that program. I think at this point, Sarah Driver is probably overseeing that, but Abby Granger, who is arranging this event, does a lot of work with our advising students. Sarah Driver is our coordinator. Chris Karen is our professional program assistant, and Erin Bacher is working, she works mostly online as our coordinator of undergraduate recruitment. You all may have worked with these very, very wonderful and intelligent and helpful people in the process of transferring here. And if you haven't yet transferred and you're looking to transfer, these are the people you would be working with. Dr. Chris Steele in the picture above, he oversees the department or division of professional studies, which is where our administrative staff lives. So you probably don't really care too much about where they're from, but you might care about who they are, because they're the people who can help you with the transfer process if you're about to transfer. They're people who can help you with issues here at Shady Grove, and there are things that may be outside of the academic realm and you need additional support. they're great at supporting you. So they're a really strong team to help support all the programs here. So once you're here, if you are a transfer student coming into the program, you want to attend orientation. So I often have students asking me, they've been accepted, and they're like, now I want to get registered. Well, we want you to get registered too, but the first step is to attend orientation and learn about the campus. There's a lot to learn about the campus, our programs, what it is to be a major. At the orientation session, you will get registered for your class. You'll work with an advisor. You'll have your schedule, you get that together. Get your supplies, your books, and then come ready to learn. It's exciting. I know the beginning of the year, the beginning of the semester is always a really exciting time. Use that energy. Come to classes, meet your faculty, come to events. There'll even be events on campus that welcome where our organizations will meet students and introduce them to the organization. One of our organizations is the Psychology Student Association, the PSA, and we have members here today who can tell more about that if anyone has questions. And you can always reach out to them. It's a great organization. There's lots of things that they do in terms of, they do fundraising, they do social events, but they also do events that involve things within psychology, whether it's panels or reaching out to different groups. They may be working in the future with the counseling center on some projects there. So there's a lot of interesting things going on there. So what do we focus on? So in psychology, sort of the nuts and bolts of the major and the program and what it means to be a student here. What does that mean? Again, a lot of people here may know this. Many people take the research methods core, right? Well, every student takes the research methods core. Every student must come in with Psych 100. You must have completed your intro psych class. If you haven't, you need to take it. So if you're thinking of coming, if you haven't taken it yet, take that, absolute number one, because all our classes have that as a prerequisite. When you get here, the next class you'll take is Psych 309, which is an introduction to the major, essentially. You learn about different careers in psychology. And after that, you'll take 311, which is Research Methods 1, where you'll learn about basic research and how it's kind of a consumer research course. In addition to those courses, though, we have 6 domains. And the idea is we want people to get a really well-rounded understanding of psychology. Now, you may come in knowing that you want to be a counselor, and that's what you're going to be. You come in knowing that, and you leave knowing that, and that's great. I have friends who knew exactly what they wanted to be from day one, and they did it. One of my best friends, she wanted to be a doctor ever since she was a little kid, and she retired last year. That's what she did. She was a doctor. I wanted to be a 3rd grade teacher or a Broadway star. I wasn't quite sure which. I always did want to teach. I didn't want to teach 3rd grade. But I went kind of a weird path to get there. I went through computer science. I got my undergraduate degree in computer science. I worked for IBM for 6 years. I went back and got my doctorate in cognitive psychology and experimental methods, worked for Computer Sciences Corporation, and then came here. So I had a windy path. So I appreciate both. And I know there are students who sometimes take gap year or gap years or travel, do all sorts of different things. Again, we're not a one-size-fits-all program. We are sort of a make-your-own-adventure program. And so to that end, we have these 6 domains. Every student has to sample from the domains. It's a menu, okay? So you have to take at least one class in each of the 6 domains. But you can pick the classes you want, the ones that seem interesting to you. And you can take more than one class in a domain. So for example, social personality and abnormal, those kind of abnormal social psych classes, they're really cool and interesting, great foundational classes. Feel free to take from that area, get a really well-rounded area. Biological basis of behavior. If you're thinking in terms of neuropsych or cognitive psych or going on to medical school, something like this category is going to have a lot of really interesting classes, sensory and perception, physiology, psychopharmacology, neuroanatomy. Developmental, if you want to work with children, we have wonderful classes in working with children as well as through the lifespan. There's a great need for people to work with the elderly as someone who's, well, we're all getting older, but as someone who's probably farther along on the getting older line, I definitely want qualified people who understand how to work with elderly and how to make good resources and really prepare for the many people who are growing older, all right? So developmental, older, and of course also working with children. We have students who are working in preschools, elementary schools as in various capacities. So there's a lot of really neat things in those areas. The other 3 areas, learning and cognition. So again, I'm a cognitive psychologist, this is my area, but we can also look at how do we learn? It's behavior, the behaviorism side of learning, how we learn, how we remember, how we know what we know. Culture, diversity, and context. We want to understand how psychology works in different areas, whether it's in different countries with different cultures and backgrounds, whether it's different genders, whether it has to do with people with disabilities. These all have differences, and we have to understand and appreciate these differences, especially as you think about going into things like clinical psychology and counseling. You're going to meet people of all different types, and you need to be able to understand that we don't all work and operate the same and think the same. We have to appreciate where people come from. And the applied domain deals with a lot of those kinds of courses that sort of get you the knowledge you need to do a lot of other things. So they kind of crosses over many things. So interviewing techniques, assessment, clinical psychology, these are things that are used in many of the other domains in complement. So if you're going to be a teacher, you need to know how to give assessments because you do those in school, but you also need to do those in the area of biopsychology, right? You may need to do them in clinical psychology. So these are things that they cross-cut. So these are the 6 domains. You take classes in each of those. And there's also a time where you take an additional 300 level course, which can be in one of these domains, or it could be something else, plus what I call a capstone 400 level course, where you do a really deep dive into some area, whether it's something like advanced behavioral pathology or advanced child psychology, or I teach the cognitive psychology seminar. We have a lot of different 400 level writing intensive classes that really give you that deep dive. So another thing I always tell people about, and you probably all heard me say, it's about internships and research. Please think about it. This is the time to do internship. It's low cost, it's low stakes because you're doing this usually for 3 or 4 months, and you get to try out the career. You get to see what it's like to work in an elementary school. You see what it's like to work in a business. You see what it's like to work and shadow a clinician. It's a great opportunity. It may give you an opportunity to try out working as a research assistant somewhere. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You move on to something else. I spent a summer at the Uniformed Services University of Health Sciences, USIS. I worked in a lab with rats. I've told some people the story. I don't like working with rats. I don't have a thing against rats per se, but I just did not want to be doing research on rats. And I learned that summer. But I also learned I worked with, they were doing studies in cognitive psychology, essentially. It was a psychopharmacology lab. And because I was in the lab, I learned a lot about learning and memory that I'd never known before. And that's what really sparked my interest in cognitive psychology. I also started doing some work on computers, which I hadn't really done before. This was way back. Very early databases that I started to work with. And I said, this is really interesting. So I was able to see how some of these things came together. So while rat part of the lab was not what I wanted to do, I found other things. And when I was an undergrad, I did 2 research experiences and 2 internships, and they really were very important to me. I learned so much through them. So I do hope students will consider doing these. They're not required, but I so strongly recommend these experiences. Some pictures of our students, happy students who have participated in, these are students from ERCAT. We have ERCAT, the Undergraduate Research and Creative Achievement Day, coming up in next Wednesday. And our own Beatrice presented last year at ERCAT when she was an undergraduate. So there's a lot of great opportunities. These are students who presented many years ago. These are some students who presented here. Shady Grove occasionally has a research day. So you can see some of these, and these are some of the placements our students have been in for their internships. Okay. Going back to, again, required things, I always try to explain to students that to graduate from UMBC, this is not to get into UMBC, but to graduate from UMBC, in addition to having your major, you have to take general education requirements because we are a liberal arts program, and it's all about breadth. It's not, there are some fields where you have to learn a skill. If you're going to work with MRIs, if you're going to be doing some types of computer program, you need to really learn a skill. But nowadays, the most important skills are things like critical thinking, problem solving, oral and written communication. These were actually skills that have always been important, but probably even more so now with the advent of AI really coming up on us. We need to be able to think and read and evaluate and understand and be critical of what's happening in the world. So in addition to our courses, which really stress that, These general education requirements also stress that. So they're listed here. We have English, 3 arts and humanities, 3 social sciences, a math course. If you are a psychology major, you'll want to take a statistics course, a lab, a science with lab and a science without lab, 2 culture courses, and a language up to the 201 level or intermediate level. So again, if you're thinking of coming here, if you haven't come here already, plan ahead. The courses we offer here, we do have some arts and humanities, lots of social sciences, and we do have some culture, but the other things we don't offer here because they're usually at the 100 and 200 level. So anyone who's currently at Montgomery College or FCC or HCC or anywhere else, try to think about getting those other classes. Definitely your English class, that's required, your science classes, your math, and your language. And we do have ways to meet the language requirement if you're a native speaker or if you lived in other countries. Right. And so this tells you a little bit about when students ask me, what do I need to have to transfer? You don't need a lot, but because we are a junior level program, start at the junior level, you do need to have between 45 and 60 credits. Students can transfer in up to 70 credits from a 2-year college and up to 90 credits from a 2-year and 4-year combined or from just a 4-year. So you can bring in a lot, but you don't have to bring in all those credits. You do have to have intro psych, composition, and statistics. Those are especially intro psych and composition. Statistics, if you want to go back for your first semester and take a course someplace else, is fine, or go to main campus. But we don't offer those courses here, and they are required. I recommend students take their lab, non-lab science, and language and get those things done when they transfer here so that when they do get here, they're ready to hit the ground running, right? You don't want to be spending your time here where we have all these really cool upper level classes, taking a lot of lower level classes. You want those to be done. And also for students who are thinking of coming, so for example, if someone was ready to transfer, but they have a summer worth of classes, I might say, take child psych, take abnormal psych. At the community college, we don't offer them here. They're 200 level courses, but they're great courses to have. So these are the kinds of things I tell students to think about. And again, there's more transfer information. I won't go through this, but I will share these with people who are interested. I have our join us. So come to us, be one of us, be one of us. Now this is a good thing, right? And then a little bit about life here at UMBC. So we've got all sorts of events. We have, as I mentioned, there's days where the organizations talk about what they're doing. We have, I think this was a summer internship program that we did with the, I'll say Department of Health and Human Services, but it wasn't that, I don't think. But various things. We have international days here. There's certain things that are Shady Grove events. There are a lot of really interesting things that happen here. We have students who are ambassadors here, students who are on the student council. We have our peer advisory team. I think this is our peer advisory team up here from a few years ago. And we have our Psychology Student Association from a few years ago. And then there are other pictures up here. I think we might even have some graduation photos. So if you come and learn and thrive and then graduate from our programs, we have a lot of lovely events and we support our graduates. And the hope, of course, is that there'll be next steps. And for those of you who are here who are current students or anyone who's thinking about what do you want to remember, it's passion, have, plan. Where do we go next? You don't just come to college and then stop. You want to think about what is your next step? Where are you going to go next? So are you thinking of applying to graduate programs or professional schools? All right, I only have graduate programs up here, but that's professional schools or other options. So do you want to go on and do physical therapy? Do you want to be a physician's assistant? Do you want to go to law school? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to get your doctorate, which may be a PhD, a PsyD, or an EDD? PhD is typically the more research-heavy psychology degree. PsyD is also a doctorate, but it's more emphasis on the practical clinical side. And EDD is from the education part, a little more focused on that aspect. You may not want to go for your doctorate right away. You might want to go for a master's degree. So when you finish your bachelor's, and whether you take a BA for a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, you may then say, what do I want to do for my master's? Do I want a Master's of Art? Do I want it in psychology? Do I want it in something else? Our majors go on to lots of different programs. Many of them do go on to master's programs in psychology or related fields. Some of them go on to other fields. We have some graduates who've gone into cybersecurity. I just had a student who completed the cybersecurity program. They might go into data science. They might go into IO psychology, industrial organizational psychology. We have a program here at Shady Grove that is in industrial organizational psychology. So there's lots of different things they might go into. That's actually an MPS, or Master's of Professional Studies program, or an MSW. A lot of our students in psychology want to go on and get their master's in social work, which is great because psychology and social work pair really nicely. Just like we have some social work students who go on and get their master's in psychology. And then again, you may go for your master's and then go on for a doctorate. Some doctorate programs, just so you know, you can start after your bachelor's. Then you sort of get a master's along the way. That's what I did. I went to College Park and I got my PhD in cognitive psychology. I didn't ever apply to a master's program, but I got an MS after about 2 years of classes. So there's lots of options in applying to graduate programs. You might decide you want to go right into your career. You might just decide you want to start working. You might want to get involved. While the psychology degree will not give you the chance to be like a teacher in, although maybe in the future it will, in Montgomery County public school system, you can do a lot of things in the school system. So we have teaching assistants. You can go on, and it actually at Shady Grove, there is a master's program in teaching for like special ed, some of these other programs. So you could also pair that way. You can work with very young, you can work in preschools. You can work in other areas of education. You can go on to do, if you're working in research. And there's also areas like writing and advertising that you can do with a psychology degree. You can work in the government. Lots of very interesting things. Or maybe you want to take some time off and travel. Maybe you want to travel for fun. Maybe you want to travel and work. Maybe you want to travel and do some sort of academic program. There are Fulbright programs that allow you to travel and study and you do your master's program in another country. There's lots of neat things you can do. One of the beautiful things about the way the program works is that you do meet every semester with an advisor. Use that time wisely. Talk to your advisor. Think about what you might want to do. Hash out some ideas. There are no real wrong answers here. You want to think about what's your passion? What is it you want to do? What really gets you excited? What is the path you want to take, either to get here, to while you're here, or when you move on? And what is your plan? Where are you going? Where do you want to go next? So I hope you'll be thinking about those things, thinking about what's really best for you. So just another little word about different areas in psychology. This is from our psychology department's website. I'm not sure who made the infographic, but it's down here. It's listed cited down here. But the different areas, people don't always think about things like marketing, research, human services, human resources, education. These are the different things that you can do. And the kind of career you have, what you do with your life, depends on a lot of different things. These are just a few. How far, what degree did you get? There's a lot you can do with the bachelor's. I had people say, oh, you get a bachelor's in psychology and you go work at whatever. No, my students who do internships, who really put that time and effort into the program, a lot of them are working in psychology, but you need to put that time in. You need to be strategic. You need to plan. You can't just say, I'm going to sit in the classroom and just kind of maybe fall asleep or whatever. I don't mean to be disrespectful. If you want to do that, you can do that. But if you really are thinking about that plan, you spend your time here wisely. You get involved with the groups if you can. I mean, I know some of my students are working 2 jobs, have family things they have to deal with. But if as much as you are able to without sacrificing your mental health, your physical health, your family, get involved. Do things with the program. Do things with Shady Grove. Learn what's out there. Talk to your professors. That actually doesn't take a whole lot of extra time. Come to our office hours. We really do want to talk to you. And we're not scary, right? We're not scary people. No, you all come talk to me, right? We're not scary. And we do want to talk to you. We want to talk to you about what you love, what you want to do, what excites you. So we will help you. That networking, get to know us, get to know each other, get to know alumni, get to know our alumni. Find out what they're doing. Learn from their experience. Learn from your faculties and what's their experience. Understand what people have done. People have gone before you. What worked for them? What didn't work for them? Use this time to really get to know that stuff. And again, it's all about you and what you want to do. Everyone is different. Just because a friend does one thing doesn't mean you have to do it. You should understand what your plan is for you. Like I said, my best friend became a doctor. Her favorite thing, she was a surgeon. When we would be in biology class together and she'd be there like cutting up her frog and she'd be like, dang, come on over. This is so cool. It's like, all right, fine. You do it. You and she'll have fun. Yeah, I was not going to be a doctor. We knew that from the beginning.
But you are a doctor.
Well, I am, that's true. I'm not a medical doctor. I just play one in the classroom. So, and I always tell students, when you leave, please stay in touch. Let us know what you're doing. We really do care. We want to stay in touch with our alumni. We want to know what you're doing. We're not trying to spy on you, but we often will invite you back for events such as this. So these are some great pictures I have up here. And I'm going to take this moment and supports future students. We have all of this information up here. And I'm going to take this moment to introduce Ting Huang, who is a UMBC McNair Scholars Coordinator and an alumna from our program. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her experience and also a little bit about the McNair Scholars Program. All right, take it away.
I'm going to scoop myself over here so that the WebEx guests can hear us.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ting Huang. I am currently the program coordinator with our UMBC McNair Scholars Program. Let me start with a little bit of my story because I might be in your boat, very similar. So I finished my time at community college at Montgomery College in 2018. Because I had enough AP credits, I graduated one semester early. So I had that one whole semester to think about what I wanted to do with my life. And one of the decisions that I really grappled with was, do I want to do psychology at UMBC main campus or do I want to do it at Shady Grove? And the main consideration there is because what's offered at Shady Grove is the Bachelor of Arts, whereas on main campus it's Bachelor of Science. So I'm like, what do I want to do? So I emailed both psychology departments for one of their advisors, and Abby got back to me first. So I chose Shady Grove. But it's also the feeling of being seen even before you are enrolled as a student is basically the type of environment that is being cultivated at the universities at Shady Grove. And that is why I chose to be in this space. Once I came to USG and started taking classes with awesome professors like Dr. Alonso and Dr. Knight, I realized that I do want to go further with the psychology degree. I mean, I always kind of realized that I probably need to do grad school with a psychology major, but I didn't know what actual next steps I had until Psych 309. I was like, okay, so I know exactly that I want to go to graduate school, but what's next? And then I took Psych 311, and then I enjoyed research. So there's a reason why they line it up like that. And I also took Psych 312 because I enjoyed research so much. And at that same time, Dr. Knight was encouraging me to apply for the McNair Scholars Program. And the McNair Scholars Program has always been kind of on main campus, but I still am the only Shady Grove student who has been a McNair Scholar. So please change that. Change that, folks in the audience.
Change that.
Yes. And what the McNair Scholar Program does is it helps first-generation college students who are from low-income backgrounds and or underrepresented backgrounds who want to do their doctorate and get them to that doctorate within 10 years of them graduating their undergrad. So after I got connected with the program, that was when I really realized there is a community of supporters here at Shady Grove who's willing to work with me, because I work with independent research projects with Dr. Knight and Dr. Alonso, because back in the day we didn't have labs, and also this happened during COVID, so they very graciously met with me so regularly on the internet. I bugged them. I know a little bit too much about them perhaps, and they know a little too much about me. But that interaction is what really solidified me wanting to stay in higher ed and wanting to cultivate that space for others once I get into a position where I can do that. Fast forward, I applied for my master's. I then went to Towson University, not the one here, unfortunately. I had to do the hour commute. For my master's in experimental psychology, and the experience there was just different from what's cultivated at Shady Grove. And after I had done that, I also extended my graduation to study abroad and took out a loan to do so. And I'm saying this because I don't want you to do that. Please, do it in another scenario. Studying abroad is great, but perhaps don't take out a loan and extend your graduation to do it. But with that said, at that same time, my program coordinator when I was a scholar was finishing up her PhD. So she wanted to move to a position that was better paid than, being in higher ed, which is great for her. And she was transitioning out. So my program director, now Dr. Michael Hunt, let me know that there's an opportunity for me to help with the transition, either as a general associate, but also if I was interested, they are going to have the interim program coordinator role for at least 1 year. So if I was interested, I would be able to step into that role. And because I was a scholar and was a student staff at McNair myself, I already know the stuff from the back end. So it was an easier transition for me. But I tell you that story because at the end of my master's journey, I applied to 3 PhD programs. The day after I submitted all my applications, I went to my advisor and was like, I think I'm going to defer even if they offer me admission. And that was because I really wanted to take a break from higher ed. So it did surprise me that I said yes to the job for like at least 1 year and put myself back into that higher ed space. But having done that, I then started looking into my own PhD programs that I should apply to and finding my interest through my work with my supervisor, but mainly my students. My students are so passionate about the respective fields that they have that it made me realize I just want to be around students who are like them, and I want to go to a place where I can continue to support students like them, like my mentors did. So with that said, I am recently confirmed PhD student at the UMD Student Affairs program starting next fall. And Student Affairs is basically supporting the people like Abby, Chelsea, and folks that have UMD emails who are working with the Career Center. So really is like, you can see like that, the impact that being at Shady Grove had on me, because I back then didn't even know what student affairs is as a topic. So with that said, like that is definitely not the trajectory I thought I would go on when I started my journey at Shady Grove. So my other takeaway here is like, as you're building your path with your passion, let your passion carry you, but also know that your path may like stray a little bit. The political climate may change that path a little bit and all that stuff going around in your world and just everybody's world. But the end place that you get to is going to be a place that you fight to be. So you really get to cherish that and know that you are the accomplishments you've acquired over the years.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I do want to stress to those of you who are current students, some of you who may be here another year or so may want to think about the McNair program. May want to talk with Ting a little bit more about her path and where she got where she is. This is all doable for people. This is really great for those of you who are coming in. I definitely know, please talk to Ting. There's a lot to learn about the McNair's program, and I really would love to see it happening here at Shady Grove. So I don't know if we have time for a few questions, hopefully, and I see Abby coming in. So if we do have questions, I am happy to answer questions either here or if there's anyone online. And as I told everyone, I'm happy to share my slides. Sure, Fulbright programs are really cool. They're typically for, a lot of times you see them for people going into master's programs, and I think we do have them at the undergraduate too, right? Fulbright's undergraduate. So it's the opportunity, there are some, I guess, US Fulbright, but a lot of it's an opportunity to go elsewhere, to study abroad. And the idea is, and again, I think you work with some people who work with Fulbright. I know you don't directly work with Fulbright, but there is a Fulbright program. The director's on main campus, and we can hopefully get him out here. He's come out to talk a few times. And it's sort of the idea of it's an intellectual exchange. You come as a student, you come and you bring your what you have to other countries, and you do work in other countries. Usually I think the way it works is you pick certain opportunities in different countries. I've actually looked at it for a faculty member. I'm not as familiar with what it is from the student side.
My sister's doing.
Oh, good. You want to take it back?
Oh, my sister, okay, so they also do information sessions that you can do about this. But right now my sister, she's put a Fulbright program for research. You can also do it for like teaching or like a job position instead of just research. but she decided to do it because she wanted to correlate it to like where she was going to go for law school. Her plans for law school. So she was at UMBC and she made her own major, and it was something about like gender and sexuality within grant like patterns. Just take care of it as well. She wanted to be involved with like healthy communities. And so before like applying for the Fulbright, she did like gain experience that related to that. So she was like part of like community organizing. She also like just helped out with she works for like improv. So that's like the place that she helps for translation, helps with people who are struggling just like finding their footing in America, or like who are having issues like with regards to the status, stuff like that. And so yeah, we're putting all that experience and that work into her interests. Oh, she also did she was in police. She volunteered to like help people who are coming in like on boats, like just like refugees and stuff. So she put in a lot of work. There's like so many other things I can think of, but she put in a lot of work like related to her interests beforehand, which helps her to be like a desirable candidate. So I would definitely like kind of like if you have it what you're interested in and you want to apply to Fulbright, definitely explore that so that when you go to apply, you're more informed on what your interest is, but you also have that background experience that makes you a desirable. But yeah, so then she applied to the Fulbright program and she had to make like a research proposal. And so her research proposal was related to, she wanted to go study in Sicily because Sicily is Mediterranean. That's like a big place in which people are, traveling when it comes to just like escaping home countries, like just immigration in general, but specifically refugees, they travel across the Mediterranean a lot. And so she wanted to go to Sicily, especially because Italy has a very troubled relationship with immigrants and letting them in and incorporating them into just general society. So she presented this whole proposal about studying just like immigrant patterns, immigrant relations, and was working with like the immigrant communities in Sicily. And she presented that, and then you just like wait to hear back. And she was accepted, which was awesome. She was like really smart, so I'm like big surprise. I think right now it's like 9 months, and she goes to a university as like a research student, so she's not like enrolled in the university that you typically would be. She's just like doing research there. She's supported by the university. She's doing research into like all the social science plan. I wish I had like a insight.
Well, what I will do is I'll get the name. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't know if you know, but I'll get the name. I have his name, contact information. I can send that out as well. In addition, if the Fulbright, and the Fulbright's a really great opportunity, and then there's, of course, there's, monetary incentives. There is also study abroad. We have had Shady Grove students do that. That's a little more low key. In addition, we've got some, there's some summer study abroad programs. We can actually take classes in other countries. I can't remember the list, but I have them in my office of, I think, about 6 to 8 study abroad programs that are happening this summer. I think there's one in Spain. I remember I was like, oh, I wish I could do that one. But I know that the English department does one in Wales. So there's things like that where you can go as part of a class and do that kind of thing. I think one year we had a student who did it on a cruise ship or on some sort of on board a boat. So there's lots of different opportunities for things like that. So be creative and ask those kinds of questions, but there are opportunities out there and you do need to go ahead and ask. And again, everyone's going to have different things that they would like to do. So yeah, there are really some exciting opportunities. So I'll get both the.
Do you mean Brian Souders?
Brian Souders. That's the. He's the one who does Fulbright.
Yeah, right. This is the problem. I know I'm talking about. But basically, like the moral is that like while she was there, she was applying for law school, and like having that Fulbright experience made her like a really valuable candidate and like strongly desired by like the law schools that she was applying to. And so like she's gotten like just like full rides to a bunch of places, which is crazy, like for law school. And that's not me like trying to fight for my sister. I mean, I can do that anytime. But like it's just to say that like if you are interested in doing it, it will like you'll reap the benefits. Because you'll be able to like dive into your interests. There's some like research that is funded. So like she has like this funding for her research. She doesn't have to like pay for out of pocket or anything. You're in like a new community, you can really engage with like the people that you want to engage with, and then like later on it sets you up for success with like whatever studies you might continue or whatever work experience for.
And to Beatrice's point, thank you, Beatrice. This idea of the more things that you do, and again, I really appreciate that some students are going to come here and take classes, and if that's what it fits in for you, that is wonderful. We want to have you. But if you have the ability and the time to do some of these, there's just some really wonderful additional things, whether it's the McNair Scholars Program, whether it's Fulbright, whether it's study abroad, whether it's being on the Psychology Student Association or being a peer advisory team member. All of these things are enriching, doing an internship, doing research. This is enrichment. And these are the kinds of things that grad school, law school, medical school look for. They want to see that you are a full person. I think as much as possible, it also makes the experience fun. And again, not everyone can do it. We understand that, but it's not a judgment, but we have these things here for you. And if we don't have something, we can try to work something out. There have been times that someone wants to do something and they've come to me and said, I want to do this research, I want to do that. And we'll see what we can do. We can't always promise it, but if we can, we will find something, maybe connect you up with someone on the main campus, whatever it takes. So we can get you opportunities, even if they're not necessarily right out there in the open here. So ask, talk to your advisors.
And then like those opportunities could lead to other ones. So maybe someone's going to be doing like whatever, some presentation in one place and they might invite you to do something else. There's like a whole like chain effect. You know, it's crazy.
It really is. It really is. Any other questions? I know
I do have a question online.
Yes.
So can you speak more about the classroom environment and taking classes online versus in person?
All right, I'll speak first and then I may let some students speak a little bit if they want. So as an instructor, I am very much in favor of at least some part of the class being in person. Currently at Shady Grove, the psychology courses all have an in-person component. When we came back from COVID, we were told that that was what we were supposed to do. I personally like in-person presence. Not everyone follows that. Some people decide to stay online regardless. Online has the benefit of being able to reach everyone wherever you are, and I appreciate that. And there are courses at UMBC and in other majors that have that, and that's great. But for us, the courses here currently at Shady Grove do have an in-person component, and I think that's really important. We're psychology. We're about talking to people. We're about having face-to-face experiences, and for me, that's incredibly valuable. Now, a lot of our courses are hybrid, which means that there's a particular amount that's done online. Usually about half of it has an online experience. So for example, I do a lot of videos. So people will watch videos, they might do some experimental lab online. They might look at an online textbook and take some, do some interactive work with the textbook. People do discussion boards. There are other things that people do. And these are great, I think, in addition, because you don't want to necessarily listen to someone talk for 2.5 hours. But I think if the time is used effectively in the classroom, being in the class is great. I know I personally and many of my adjuncts really do look at doing hands-on kinds of things in classroom. We do in-class experiments, we do group work, we do think, pair, shares. We try to be creative, make the classroom experience an active experience. So you're not just sitting there listening, although I do also lecture, but I don't lecture for an hour and 15 minutes, right? No, I don't lecture for an hour and 15 minutes. We do discussion back and forth. I want to hear your voices. I want to get to hear what you're doing. So I know I can speak for my own classes where I do a lot of interactive work. And I believe that a lot of the other faculty do. I wouldn't speak for everyone. I don't know if anyone here who's been a student in any of our classes wants to speak to that, but I'll give you a moment to speak up if anyone does have any thoughts or questions or. Yeah. Okay, they have two questions.
So I would say, if you like, the in-person classes also like create an opportunity for you to establish a close relationship with your professors, so that if you need support later on for like research opportunities or like even, letters of recommendation, then you have like someone to go to for those.
Yeah. So I think, I'm sort of hoping that the in-class experience is a good one for our students. I feel it is. This, again, it's a nice campus, so I think coming here is nice. You're not walking 2 hours to get from your car to the classroom. The buildings are nice, they're clean. And I say that not to be like, oh, this is flipped. There are places where sometimes classes are not really that comfortable, but I think overall they're nice here. I don't know if people online can see, but we've got little chairs and tables that move around. This particular classroom, tables can be moved to get into groups, so that works well. A lot of the other classes, we have rows of desks, but I think basically it's done for comfort. We've got our nice technology. Things tend to usually work well. So I think it's been a great environment. And again, I think in my classes, I like to see students interacting with each other. I think college should have the ability to be a social place if you want to be able to work interactively with each other and get to know your friends. Again, for networking later on, I think that's highly valuable. Does that answer the question okay? Hopefully. Any other questions?
Yeah, so the question is, if you're a part of USG, can you also take classes online from the main campus, the Catonsville location? And the answer is yes.
Yes, yeah. So we do, it's a nice opportunity. You can take online classes if you want to drive up or get transportation up to main campus, you can do that. So you're not just limited to classes here, but you can take, when you're here, you can take any of the UMBC-Shady Grove classes for which you have the prerequisites. In addition, it's not used a lot. I'm hoping it will be used more, but there is interinstitutional registration, we've had students in our psychology program take criminal justice classes, communication classes, business entrepreneurship classes. I'd like to see this opened up more. It's not a lot of people know about it, but it's a nice opportunity. And some of the other programs have some really interesting things they do. The criminal justice program director has a program where I don't know where she's going this year, I think. No, I don't want to speak up. Let's say South Africa, but I'm not sure. She's gone to Thailand, she's gone to Cambodia, she's gone all over. And she invites our psychology students, anyone who's interested, to apply and come on this experience with her in the summer. So there's a lot of interinstitutional opportunities. Again, they're not necessarily always visible, but if you talk to me or your advisor to learn more about them, there are things out there. Anything?
They're called interinstitutional.
Interinstitutional registration, IIR, or course sharing, and it's on the Shady Grove website. So if you go to shadygrove.umd.edu and you search on interinstitutional registration, there is information about how to do it. Again, feel free to talk to your advisor, great. Or just ask me, and I can probably put that link in with whatever we submit as well.
Do those classes go towards the transfer credit amounts?
No. So they're part of your courses here. I don't remember how they come in exactly, and I don't remember if the grade, I think the grade does transfer in. That I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've had one where I've had a student going out. But it's the idea is it's actually something that does happen beyond Shady Grove campus. But the idea was to make it more seamless here so that if you took a course at College Park, it worked as if you are taking class. It doesn't really look that different. And of course, the benefit is you're still on this physical campus taking a class, just down the hall. So it's a really nice idea that I'd like to see, and I've been pushing to see it happen more. But I have had a few students here and there, students have taken these classes. And you do have to take the majority of your classes with your home institution, but for like one class, or if you're full-time taking 2 classes, I have seen students do this, and it's worked out nicely. Well, I want to thank everyone so much for being here. I really do appreciate it.